Hey everyone, welcome back to my Business by Design Summit. And today in my hot seat, I have Jody Jelas from New Zealand. I love having my international peeps on this call with me. So Jody, welcome to our show. How are you today?
Good. Thanks very much for having me.
It's awesome. It's like blonde on blonde action today. I joke with Jody, we're like the double mint twins. We're like sisters separated at birth or something. It's so much fun having my blue-eyed blonde sister on this call with me today. I want to just dive right in because Jody is awesome, no filter, way out there, online strategist. She uses video for business. I love watching her authentic self on Facebook. She's so much fun. I always laugh. I mean, she's good for a good laugh because she's so bold and in your face. But Jody, tell us kind of a little bit of your story of how you ended up where you're at today.
If you're talking about the bold and in your face part, I wasn't like that. I was having this discussion with someone yesterday. When I was younger, and I think you and I have actually talked about this in our private conversations as well. When I was younger, it was, I was one of those kids who wanted to be on the stage, and I wanted to be on anything high so I could pretend it was the stage. And I was always out there and in your face, but it was always a case of everyone saying, don't be the center of attention. Parents do that out of protection. Don't be the center of attention. You don't have to always have to be the person that's the loudest in the room. But I wasn't doing it as seeking approval then, I don't think. It was just who I was. So as I got older, I kind of did the opposite. I kind of shrunk into myself thinking that it was wrong to be out there. But then it wasn't until I was way later in my 20s, after I'd done a lot of personal development, that I started to go, you know what, this is actually who I am. It's in my DNA to be loud and in your face. And I kind of had this breakthrough moment when one of my business coaches, I got some new photos done for my business, and I was just moving away from my web design company that I had from when I was 21. So I must have been around 30. And I wanted to go out under the Jody Jelas brand. These are my new photos. And he said to me, no one's going to ever take you seriously. They're always going to see you as boobs and heels. And in that moment, it triggered for me that I was just so sick of fitting a square peg in a round hole and revolving who I was around what other people thought of me, said about me, their perception of how I was. And I thought, if I'm going to go out there and make a difference to reach the people I want to reach, I owe it to them to be myself 100%, put myself out there, not filter myself, because trying to be anything other than your authentic self, that's physically painful, It tenses up your shoulders, you feel it in your body, and yeah, it just does not feel cool. So I made a decision then and there, out of frustration of all the years of having to please everybody else, that it was just time to bust out, be myself, no filter, potty mouth and all. Everything that comes out of my head you pretty much see on Facebook. And yeah, just get it out there and serve people the best way that I can.
I love it. I always say that when you shine your light, you give permission for others to do the same. And that's exactly what you're doing through your own life and experience. But yeah, I can relate 100%. I was a pastor's kid. It was try to fit her loud self in this box, and
Yeah.
I had 3 years of theater. How do you keep quiet when you're used to projecting and being on stage? And it's just how you naturally are. So I love that you're out of the box.
Yeah. And what about with your daughters? You've got one daughter, right?
Right.
So I've got a daughter and a son, but my daughter's very much like me, and so she's very out there and theatrical, and I like it and I embrace it, and she's very smart too, and I'm like, go for it. I'm all about it. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Just the opposite of how we were raised. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, my daughter's got her own Shyla Show YouTube channel. I let her do whatever she wants to.
Yeah, my kids have got a YouTube channel too. It's great.
Of course. If they're watching you, you can't say no, it's bad.
Yeah. Exactly.
But mommy's got one. I love it. I love it. Well, explain. I know you started entrepreneurship really young in life, and there's so much to learn. There's a kind of a badass edge that's almost needed to be an entrepreneur. So kind of share how that journey looked in the beginning stages, and now you're like all about the sales funnels queen and the video. So tell our listeners today kind of where to start, what's needed, because it's serious guts to be an entrepreneur, especially as a single mom. That's something else we both share.
And that's why when I wrote my book, I called it Lady Bulls, because when I was trying to come up for my Boom program, I was trying to come up with an acronym for Boom, and the B, we started off with brainstorming, and I thought, well, the truth is, every time I have a conversation with a new client, they've got where they are now, they've got where they want to be, and they need to put themselves out there. But they've got all these fears around, what are people going to say about me? They're going to judge me. What if they don't like me? What if I get haters and bad comments? But what they're doing is blocking themselves from having the life that they want. And so when I talk to new clients, the first conversation I have to have with them is that you have to let all of that go, and you have to basically balls up. And because most of my clients are females, that's where Lady Balls came from, because it's literally the first thing you have to do is strap on your Lady Balls. And as I said to a friend yesterday, the one area where you can fake it till you make it is in the area of confidence, because we all have days where we're not confident. Even the most confident people have days where they're like suddenly not confident. Something might happen that, brings on the self-doubt. And so the first thing, you've got to do is understand that the resistance and the self-doubt is going to hit. And even when you come up with processes and deal with that, there's going to be days where it still hits. And that's where you fake it till you make it with the confidence. You just go out there, stand tall, be proud of who you are, having a good day or a bad day, just go out there, Lady Balls and all, and that's the first part. Confidence. Jump. With the wings on the way.
Build your wings on the way down. That's basically how it is. Your parachute or whatever you need, just jump. See what you're made of. That's the best way to test it out. I love it. Your Lady Balls book should come with like a little pair of strap-on Lady Balls.
Totally. Two people went to a show where there was something, and it was here in New Zealand, a show where somebody had something that was some female. I think it was like a novelty item. Two people took photos and sent it to me. I thought, like that person.
That would be awesome. Just a little reminder every day as you start your day. Oh, got to put these on.
Yeah.
So what would you suggest to build that confidence? Because I, like you, work with a lot of more women than men. And the confidence thing is the one that shows up all the time. And I didn't wake up confident. Obviously, it was a journey. And you're never, like you said, 100% on top of the mountain forever. You're a work in progress. But I did do a lot of self-development to create this confidence. Any suggestions that you have? There are probably some in your book about how to build that confidence, get them out of their comfort zone.
Yeah, two things, like you touched on it there. Like I did a John Keogh Mind Power course that my parents set me on when I was 14. So, I had the beginning of personal development, but 14 was also probably the toughest year of my life. So I constantly did personal development, and it was probably not until I was 25 that I really started to understand the power of it. But, it's like it was subconsciously building there in the background. I was gathering this information, and it would make me feel good temporarily, and then you'd go back to the real world and stuff would happen, and suddenly it's like, all goes out the window. Mm-hmm. So just daily practices of that kind of thing. But one thing is we tend to focus so much on the things that we're not so good at. And so I encourage people to actually make a list of things that they like about themselves. And that might be things that other people don't like about them. So maybe you are loud and out there. So write that down and just embrace every single part of you. Don't think about what other people think of it how you think of it. So what used to be, the being loud and out there used to be sort of frowned upon when you were younger. Now if someone's loud and out there, it's like, awesome. This person's okay to be themselves and confident. So kind of list down everything that it is about yourself, things that you think are in your DNA. Like, I'm an overthinker, but that's not a flaw. Some great stuff comes out of the overthinking. What I like so the perfect example, the overthinking, the fact that I'm okay with the fact that I'm an overthinker is actually an empowering thought, because being okay with the good, the bad, and the ugly just builds extra confidence. So it's kind of like, I took the kids to that movie the other day, Inside Out. Mm-hmm. and it had the different characters. It had sadness, joy, anger, fear, and what was the other one? Disgrace, despair. It was a D. Anyway, the whole point of the movie was at the end is Sad was taking all the joy away from this child's life. But at the end of the movie, the whole point of it was sadness was actually a positive thing, because when sadness occurred in the little girl's life, it brought their family close together. So their family unit was tighter in situations of sadness. So it's like, embrace all you are, even the things that you might not think are positives, because the fact that you can embrace that as a positive makes it a positive and helps you move forward and have that confidence.
I love that, because emotions are going to show up in business all the time. It's like an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
And the sooner you get used to not every day is going to be a 10, you know, an epic high day. When I have a client that will message me like, oh, today was a shit zone, everything went wrong. Perfect. You know, it's like, embrace it. We're growing, we're learning. Where's the solution in this somewhere, you know? And not all days are going to be high. You know, that's just a kind of a facade I think people think when you're living your business or living your lifestyle dreams, is that it's all going to be, you know, gumdrops. It's not.
Rainbows and butterflies.
That's right. Unicorns and Pegasus.
Yeah. I have a rule on Facebook, because if I'm having a bad time, I do put it on Facebook, but I usually wait until I have a solution, because I don't want to put things out there and have it be a pity party, and I want people to know that I'm real, shit goes wrong, you know? Like, couple of weeks ago, I was like, what, really? What else are you going to throw at me? Seriously? All of this is going wrong at once? But, yeah, situations like that they build you stronger. And so, yeah, actually, it's weird. It's kind of like, you know, when you go to the gym and it hurts, but you know it's a good pain? Sometimes when things go wrong, it feels a little bit like that now. It's like, yeah, this is a really shitty time, but a week from now, I'm going to look back at it and have so many more lessons that I'm going to be even better and more powerful from having that experience.
Exactly. It's a trusting factor too. Sometimes that big no or some kind of closed door feels very painful in the moment. It's rejection, but just trusting the process, there might be something better outside there for you. And just learning that from a bigger space versus what's in the here and now is kind of huge for us in learning. So I love that. I don't like to whine on Facebook either unless I'm on the other side of it. I don't want, oh, poor Carrie, boo-hoo, you know, that victim mindset.
Hugs, thinking of you.
I know. Are you okay? All these private messages.
I know. I put a quote up last night, and it was about a recent breakup, but that was a few weeks ago now, and I'm fine. I'm actually in a really good space this week. I'm just, I don't know, I'm this creative buzz. I don't know what's going on, but I love it. But I put a quote out last night that actually refers to an experience a few weeks ago, but I thought others would benefit from. And it was, whenever somebody lets you down, so like last night I was talking to a client about how their VAs always leave and let them down. And I was thinking about relationships when people leave. And at the time it can seem really painful, but I look at it now and I think, man, every relationship you have that fails, or every time somebody lets you down and it hurts, I visualize, I was trying to find a photo of kind of someone's hands like that with a heel in it, getting a boost up. Because I thought, well, you just kind of reframe it, and instead of seeing that somebody's let you down, I see that as someone's actually boosting you up to the next level. It's kind of like, yeah, well, they're actually a step in the process of your journey of growth. And, you know, every time you go through a letdown situation, you come out the other side and you're stronger for it. Not like tough, no one can get me, but you're like actually empowered by it in a way. And the fact that, you know, well, as soon as you start to learn that you don't die when things go wrong, I'm not going to die, I'm only going to learn from it. So when you're in it, it may not seem so, you know, it may not seem so easy, and you might not see the light at the end of the tunnel, but it's all just a step up in your journey to the next phase in your life. And I put that up on Facebook, and instantly somebody PM'd me to ask me if I was okay, and I'm like, yes, why would you say that? And then I thought, oh God, I'll have to go back and rephrase my quote, because people are going to just start PMing me thinking there's something wrong, but it's just a little insight.
I know. It's like, it's not always me pointing the fingers at myself. Could be a client, something I learned through their own transformation, and I want to share it with the world. But people think it's personal sometimes, So I love the mindset piece you kind of went through. Now really describe what you do online, because I love online business. I'm like you, a virtual lifestyle is the only way to be. You mentioned you're going to Bali next week. Explain how you got into that space and how fucking cool it is.
Yeah.
And it's not like this rich bullshit either that people think. There's hard work behind it.
No, exactly. So I got pregnant with my daughter, and it was a surprise. And I had been working in my web design company for a decade. And I was working crazy hours. And then when I had her, I knew I had to make a change. But I had my web design company, and I was rocking her on her rocker with my foot to get her to sleep while I'm building websites with one hand, and I've got the express pump on my printer trying to get enough milk to be able to feed her when she wakes up. But I'm so goddamn stressed that I'm not making enough milk, which then turns you into feeling like a crappy mother. And I was just there going, oh my God, this is not living. This is not life. I took 4 days off. 4 days off, and I was back on my computer. My waters broke at my desk, and I finished 2 websites before I went into labor. And I was sitting there going, yeah, no, this isn't cool. And what was weird is, at first, I'm productive mode. Oh, no, my waters are broke, but I'm not on labor. Cool, I can probably smash out the rest of the stuff. Go and get a towel and sit on a towel so it doesn't ruin my fancy chair, and work. And then you come out of that, and you go, that was mental. That was insane. Who thinks like that? And you get into the habit of being busy and hustle, and then you forget to put lifestyle first. So I'm all about working out the lifestyle that you want. And as we just talked about before, that can change. It doesn't matter if it changes. But keep checking in. Like, what is your big goals? What are you working towards? And then you design your business around the lifestyle you want. Whereas so many people just want to get out of a job, and they go, I'm going to go start a business. Next thing they know, they're working double the hours they were in a business. The mortgage payment comes around, and they're rocking them back and forth in the corner going, how the hell am I going to pay for everything? I've got no consistent income. So, yeah, just designing that lifestyle first is what I always talk about with my clients, and then building that leverage, scalable business to suit that lifestyle. So when I had my daughter, it made me go, what can I automate, what can I delegate, and what can I just delete? So I gave away my web design company to my team who'd been so loyal to me for so long, and within 48 hours, my web design company was gone, my list was gone. I had no following because it was all under my web design company brand, and I went out as the Jody Jelas brand, completely starting from scratch. And because, like you and I'm like a out there person, I was like, let's get this on camera. And so I started video blogging, and within 90 days, I was standing on a stage speaking with internet marketers that I had looked up to for years. And I'm sitting there at the speakers dinner going, holy shit, how did I get here? Totally got the speed bubbles. And, that was only a few months after I'd really gone out there and put myself under my own brand and had the balls to put myself out there. So, yeah, out of the frustration with not having time with my daughter, it was, what can I automate? What can I delegate? What can I delete? And then I teach people that now. That was my focus.
I love that. That's a great tool. I mean, literally write out everything you need to do today, this week, this month, this quarter, and yeah, start checking what shit can go bye-bye.
Yeah.
What's important.
And then check in every 3 to 6 months and go, is it still what I want? It might not be. And if it's not, that's okay. Change it. Just readjust your path.
Right. I like to create 2 to 3 big, hairy, nasty, audacious goals for the year. And I do like to check back in too, make sure they're, still what I want for the year, like halfway point. Yep, still going to publish that fucking book.
Yeah.
That stuff that's important.
I'm like, oh, I really want a house that's got this and this and this. And then I get it and I go, thinking that's my forever house. I've come to the conclusion that I don't have a forever house anymore. Because what are you doing?
She's like her mom. Yeah, she wants her own debut time. Don't you have a Mac Daddy house?
Yeah, so my Mac Daddy house though, but then I keep going, I want this and this and this in my Mac Daddy house. And then I come to the conclusion that when I build the Mac Daddy house, I probably go, oh, that was a fun growth project. What now? And come up with something else. But
yeah,
Yeah, so these houses I'm living in at the moment, I'm kind of going, okay, well, I like that bit, I don't like that bit, and I do like that. So it's going to change all the time.
It's all good. It's your personality too. You're that type of person. You like change. You embrace it. It's fun. It's fun.
It's exciting.
As long as there's fun. So explain how these trips to Bali and what you're doing there. Kind of give us some insight of that. I know it's not just fun. You got some business sometimes.
Yeah, so we're doing a 3-day event there, but what I've always done is because I do week on, week off with the kids, they stay at their dad's every second week. So every second week, or at least, once a month, it's kind of like, where in the world do I want to go? Great, I'm going to go do an event there. So, so over the last few years, I've done so much traveling. There are times where I've actually cut down on my traveling quite a bit, but I guess, my traveling every 3 months instead of every 1 month, it's still pretty cool.
And it's not like you're in LA. It's not like you're here in the Pacific coast of the U.S. You're in New Zealand, so that's a hell of a plane ride.
Yeah, it's a full day to get up there. So, and usually, I only come for a week to fit it in with the kids. So,
right.
But yeah, I've missed it. I've had a few months where I haven't traveled much. I've been to Bali. This will be my 5th Bali trip since November. So, in what's that? 7 or 8 months is my 5th trip. But yeah, each time we've gone there to do things for our business. So always make them a profitable journey as well.
Right. Absolutely, and a tax write-off and whatever else you need to do in the process.
Yeah, I have to travel. It's a tax write-off.
Exactly. Always. Well, that's just it, is the business we do, and I've talked about this with other speakers too, is sometimes I'll feel like yesterday I didn't leave the house. I had a project I really wanted to get done. I knocked it out in 5 hours, no interruptions, turn everything off, shut down, and just power it out. And sometimes we have to do that, but it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like a boss has got a gun to my head kind of feeling. It's a different kind of, where I could see how we can get off balance easy, because it's what we love to do. We found our genius zone and we keep playing in it.
Yeah.
So going to Bali, of course you're going to work there too.
Of course. And it doesn't feel like work when you're doing what you love. And the question I always ask people is like, especially if you're new and deciding what kind of business to go into, is ask yourself, what is the one thing that I could do all day long that would never feel like work? And for me, it's being on camera, creating content, being on camera. So creating like your own online TV show is the ultimate strategy for me, because it's totally in alignment with who I am, and it's so much fun. I could just all day do blog videos and feed them into my program, which is pretty much what I do. But yeah, it's kind of finding what your genius is, because sometimes people will start out and go out into business, and then they'll do what they're good at or do what they think they have to. And even if they go in doing what they love, if they're trying to do everything themselves and not delegating, when they're doing things that are outside their flow, it's going to make their mind start thinking that, oh, I don't love doing that anymore. And it contaminates their dreams. So, I have a check-in where it's like, if I'm doing something and I check in with my body and I'm like, are my shoulders tense? Do I suddenly have a headache? Does this feel like it's in flow? Is my throat feeling tight? And if I have any of those kind of body feelings, then I know that that's a job I need to automate, delegate, delete, and just constantly checking in on that and being aware of what you love and what you don't. And I tell people to write, once they get into business, write 30-minute increments of what they do every day for a week. Go through it and go, what is the stuff I absolutely love? What's the stuff I absolutely hate? What's the stuff that's super easy to delegate? And just delegate the easy stuff first, because then it frees up your time. And then just start delegating the stuff that you don't enjoy, because when you're playing top level instead of being stuck in that detail, your business is going to be so much more fun, so much more profitable. You're going to love it more. You're going to have more free time than thinking, oh, I'm going to save a few $100s by learning how to do WordPress myself. And then you're doing it and you're sitting at your desk going, kill me now, when you could have just delegated that to somebody else and stayed in your genius doing the part that you love.
Yeah, it's like that book, The Big Leap, that zone of incompetence, why so many of my clients will just force themselves. And I'm like, giving them 3 virtual contacts or virtual assistant contacts. Like, please, I know they're great. Please use them. Call them. It's just not worth it. It's the best feeling to wake up and a project's done already for you. And you're like, thank you. It's just like, yes, because I know
Yeah.
details are not my genius zone at all. I'm a
Oh,
big picture person.
yeah.
So
I get that.
yes. It's I always say I'm a big picture person. I don't have time for the little pixels in the picture. Just the big picture itself, is the important part for me.
I've got a finisher, and I'm cool with that. Someone else, I've got an idea. Can you finish it for me?
That's right. Here's the stages of it. I'll let you know if it's looking like what I had in my head. Perfect.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you on that all the way. Everyone that's a typical entrepreneur. I just read or reread the E-Myth, which is on a book that's been around forever.
Yeah.
So they talk about obviously the entrepreneur, the manager, and the technician. And if you're stuck in that technician stage all the time doing the work, you're not really tapping into the entrepreneur, the big picture, and delegating.
Yeah, I remember reading that book when I was 21. It's one of those ones that you just keep on your shelf and you got to reread.
Yes, I needed a refresher, so I devoured that one last week. It's very good.
Yeah.
Nice reminder. So tell us about how you do video blogs, and you help people with sales funnels. Believe it or not, the word sales funnel is foreign to some people, so help us out. Speak sales funnel for dummies to us.
Okay, so basically sales funnel, I see it as, and it's not as technical as people think, because a sales funnel is anything that takes someone from not knowing you, or possibly not knowing you, and converting them into clients. So sometimes that's as simple as somebody watching a video blog of yours or a podcast or opting in for a little freebie and then going onto a sales page for something. Or it could be something like a 4 free video series, which is obviously a lot more to create, then feeds them into jumping on the phone with you, closing bigger ticket stuff. So the sales funnels can be super, super simple, but the thing I like to work on most is just helping people build that global brand. So just getting themselves out there, getting their brand known as an authority in what they teach, and then helping them come up with offers, because, a lot of people don't even have an online program or any offer. Helping them come up with a leveraged offer so it's not time consuming. So as they're building that global brand, it's feeding them into turning them into clients, whatever their offer is. So it's kind of like build the fame, create the offer, and how do you connect the two and drive the traffic to it.
So important. And I work with so many people, especially when I bring on new clients. They think they know what they're doing. They don't realize the dots need to connect in marketing in order for it to be a success. And they're just see people doing webinars, so they'll throw it out there. It just breaks my heart. I'm like, oh, there's so much more method to the madness than that.
Totally. And it's like with blogging, it's not just a case of spitting out information. It's a case of structuring it in a certain way that gets you clients. It's not just like, hey, everybody, here's a little bit of information and here's another little bit of information. It's building it into a structure that turns it into a client getter.
Exactly. Yes. Building your list and keeping those people close to you so you can build connection is important. By all means, yes, I agree with you 100%. I'm like you. I think video creates a connection faster than a blog. We're working with an international level. I have clients in over 8 countries now. You have to bridge that gap, where words in a text or a social media post here or there is not going to build it like a video. Is that your same feedback as well?
Yeah, kind of like come at them from all angles. And video is the next best thing to being in front of someone. So when you can see them, you can see their mannerisms, you can kind of build more trust that way. And it just seems more real, Like, how many people do you meet in real life that you've seen online before and you forget? You're like, oh, actually, we've never met before, but I feel like I know you, whether that's through video or social media or whatever. But the other thing with video is people go, oh, I wouldn't know what to say on video. I just do my written blogs. It's like, great. So you've written a script. So you just say that script to camera. And, sometimes I'll have clients use an iPad as a teleprompter because there's loads of free apps. But what I've been doing lately is you print off the script and you have somebody, you read it line by line. So it's like you bullet point, say it to the screen. Bullet point, say it to the screen. And then just in editing, you get those bits chopped out and just crop in or crop out a little bit, and it's seamless. It's really easy to do. And it seems more natural too.
Right, and you're right. Editing isn't as hard as people think it is. It doesn't have to be a one-take wonder. Just get in front of the fucking camera.
I have a full-time editor in the Philippines I pay her 600 New Zealand dollars, so it's about 400, 500 US dollars a month, and she works for me full-time editing all day long.
Wow. That's
So
awesome.
it's nothing, costs nothing.
Exactly. No excuses, guys.
Yeah.
The Philippines is awesome. I know there's quite a few virtual assistants I have over there as well, too.
Yeah.
Like
Great.
$5 an hour kind of stuff. Yeah. And they think,
Yeah, and
is this
I
too
just got
much?
somebody on there who specializes in podcasting.
Nice.
So it's kind of like you have one that specializes in all the different, go for the Henry Ford, get the experts in one thing, and then have somebody who's an expert in another thing do that.
Exactly. Well, that's a typical entrepreneur. We'll just hire the people that went to school for it. You can know your thing. Well, we know how to fill in the gaps.
My son's cousin's brother, he does this, or he does this, he does that.
That's awesome. So if I were a brand new business owner just starting to play with video, just starting to even the thought of looking at the camera doesn't seem too crazy. What kind of suggestions? Do they just jump in? Any tips or tricks you can give them for video?
Start off using your cell phone and just get yourself a selfie stick or get a cheap tripod, and there's so many different little things that you can use just to attach to the tripod that will hold your phone in place. And just start doing a video. Your audio and lighting's important, so if you're doing it inside your house, go stand near a window with the lights on your face and just practice being in front of the camera. And doing that before you go and buy all of the equipment and what have you, because yes, it's way more professional, but you don't want to go, oh, well, I'm delaying getting in front of camera, so I'll go and order all of this equipment, and then trying to put all the equipment together adds another layer of difficulty. So keep it as simple as you absolutely can, and just chucking stuff on Facebook, but always make sure there's a call to action, whether you're leading them to a freebie, you're asking them to subscribe, whatever it may be. Just, get that stuff on Facebook, get that stuff on YouTube.
Right. There's no, just jump into the deep end, whatever. I started too with like a little tripod on my phone. That's so funny. Whatever works, start, stop. Anybody can do that. And you just get more comfortable with it the more you do it, obviously. It just takes practice, And
you can trim the ends in your phone anyway. You can, you can do it within your iPhone. You can just trim both the ends, or there's little apps to do it as well.
Yeah, my daughter's like, Mom, you have a YouTube editor app right here on your phone you can use. I'm like, okay. Let the 11-year-old train you.
Upload, like these Google Hangouts, they go straight to YouTube. Right. You can trim them within YouTube. You don't even have to worry about download, edit, upload, anything like that.
Yes, YouTube's got lots of fun editing. You don't have to be a genius to figure it out. It's pretty simple. I think it's user-friendly.
Have a play, make mistakes, and then do it differently next time. That's how I do it.
Exactly. I look back at my old stuff and I'm like, wow. Just keep growing. Just keep growing. I like that you mentioned the lane. I like to call it resistance, because that's really what it is. It's like manifesting resistance to actually doing what you need to do by, let me research which equipment I need, and is this light perfect? I'll start it when I have all my ducks in a row. And that's just resistance. So it's like, knock that shit out.
Do what it takes. And if you make mistakes, you stuff it up completely, just stuff it up. Cool. Then you know what not to do next time.
In all honesty, I don't know if you agree, I actually enjoy watching a video that's not perfect. I want to see them screw up somebody's last name once in a while, or drop something. I mean, you're real now. You're not some little talking robot like the newscast,
And it's actually a good pattern interrupt too, because so often people put videos out there and they're just talking heads. If you got something, some sort of stuff up, if you got something that happens later in your video that's a stuff up, chuck it on the front, because people are going to go, oh my God, what else is going to happen? And they're in there engaged and they want to listen more.
Like Millie walking in the back. I mean, that's cool. That was planned. We
right. She would have been an that for sure.
She's awesome. I love her. She's so cute. So cute. So let's go right into Lady Ball's full head stream before we wrap up today's call. Because first and foremost, speaking of out there and in your face and a pattern interrupt, the word Lady Balls, and I totally love using it now. It's now become an adjective. It's a household name. Thanks to Jody. But what like inspired, like, I need to write this book? Do you ever have, like, the book I'm writing right now is called Permission to Be Me, and it's about being authentic. like I can't get it out fast enough because I want to hand it to every client I work with. I'm sure you probably had a similar situation. But what?
Yeah,
I'm sure
this is my desk right now. I've got like all these copies of Lady Balls on the desk. It's
I love it.
Oh, I'll send one of those to you. I'll send you mine out.
I understand. Was this book like burning a hole in your gut? You just had to get it out? I mean, what inspired you to write it?
Actually, it was the opposite. It was, I had in my head the structure of this book about business that I was going to write. And it was going to have all this funnily stuff and da-da-da-da-da. And then I'm like, man, it took me a year to try and get that out. And it felt so forced. And then I went, that's not what I want to do. I just want to talk about fucking strap on your lady balls, get yourself out there, make shit happen, just embrace yourself for everything that you are. And I had it out within 2 weeks. I wrote it.
Wow.
So I went a year of mucking around trying to write a book about the wrong stuff to this, and then I just went, oh my God, this is so much better. It just felt so right, and it just spewed out of me. And a lot of it is just my stories of stuff ups I've made and what I learned from it, or, you know, things that I've learned, or just, you know, situations where you got to strap on your lady balls. And then there is some businessy stuff in it too, but it's kind of like, it's all about just accepting yourself for who you are, and, you know, even if you're a little bit crazy, that's cool. It's actually dedicated to the crazy people. And it's all about, also about the lifestyle that we talked about. Come up with your ultimate lifestyle, build the business around that, not the other way around. And don't try and please everybody else, and, you know, don't filter yourself based on what other people might say and think. Just completely be 100% yourself.
I love it. And yes, it can be used in life, period, you know, business, life, whatever. And whatever shows up for you to be your true self. I love it. I love it. I thought you wrote it fast because I remember you like hinting around it, and then boom, it was out.
Yeah, it's kind of like, shut the doors, get this out of my head. And I was writing it going, I put a video blog post out the other day saying, you know, like most of us entrepreneurs are so easily distracted. For some people to leave their job and go and be in business, and then they'll find it struggle to get out of bed by 10, and they're still sitting there going, oh my God, I've got nothing done. And I'm still like that, so I actually have to have structure in place. And what happened was my phone was being such a distraction, my computer was a distraction. I did a blog post the other day about how people who are easily distracted can get more done. I told a true story how around Christmas I took my phone, I put it in the car, I locked the car, I put the key in a suitcase, I carried the suitcase down to the backyard and put it in a bush, so I could not physically get my phone without going through quite a rigmarole. And that's when I wrote the majority of my book. I just sat there going, right, book, nothing else. Da, 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 da. Oh my God, it's spewing out of me. And someone said, it was a bit drastic having to do that with your phone. I'm like, you don't understand. I'm really easily distracted. But yeah,
I get it. I might need to bury it in a hole.
Yeah, you gotta actually dig it out. Yeah.
Pour cement over. No, I'm kidding. I love it. I think I saw bits and pieces of that. I think you even said something about like wearing something bad or your ugliest outfit. So you won't want to leave the house.
So you just put on like the most hideous clothes. Don't do your hair, no makeup. If you can just look as bad as you possibly can, because then if you go, oh, I wanted those shoes, I want to go shopping, or oh, I know, I'm going to go out, I'm going to do this. So if you put on your worst clothes, then you go, oh God, I can't go out like this, I'd have to do that, I'd have to get changed, and it just seems too hard, so you don't actually go anywhere. But yeah, it's funny. I'm like, it's Dory out of Dory. What is it?
They were applicable tips for us crazies that need to just buckle down and get shit done.
You don't beat yourself up for being crazy. You just come up with strategies to manage your crazy.
If you see me, like, I've got video of me shoveling in the backyard. That's what's going on. I'm hiding my phone. I think that's why I get so much done at night, and I'm one of those people that will knock out a bunch at like 2, 3 in the morning because it seems so silent. The phone isn't going nuts, and emails aren't popping up, and everyone else seems to be asleep, at least in the area. But yeah, it works. I need to do that. I need to knock out my book too, so I'll be burying my phone.
Yeah. And it's like, I've got clients who will create their online program in 1 week because they'll go and lock themselves behind closed doors and smash it out. They'll go and stay at a hotel for a week with no internet just to get it all done.
That's a good idea. Do a little staycation in the local area. I mean, I should probably do that too. Because then there's the laundry and other things that distract you around the house.
Yeah.
Pull at you. I love it.
Food.
Ideas now, yeah. What do I eat? Which is another sign of resistance and distraction.
Well, I think about that. I'll go and stare at the cupboard. It's like, oh no, I'm eating carbs and my head's blurry.
I know. Then you're in the kitchen, then you're preparing something. Next thing you know, you're putting the dishes away and you're distracted again. It's hard to get in the zone. Very fun. Very fun. I love this. I'm going to totally use that. Thanks for the reminder of all these. Block it off, because I've got a book to finish, and I'm a content expert for a women's leadership program that's coming out this month, and I still have 2 more courses to write, and I'm like, oh, I got to do this. So I'm going to knock it out Jody style.
You do it. You get it out so quickly, thinking, oh God, that wasn't actually so hard after all.
It's not. It's not. You just got to shut down all that other stuff. That's all. Yeah. Little bouncing distractions in your head. So lead us into what your offer is today, because I love all the good juicy stuff that you have out there. And if anyone's not on Jody's blog, oh my God, please get on, because you'll enjoy everything that comes to your inbox. But share what you have for our audience today.
Okay, so I am giving your audience free copies of either the PDF version or the Kindle version, whichever you want to use, of Lady Balls. So I'll give you the link so you can go and download that, have a read of it, have a play, and inside the book you can also go sign up for a bunch of bonuses as well. So
it's the gift that keeps giving. Very nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool. Well, before we wrap up, Jody, just kind of give us any final thoughts you have for our audience, for anyone that's brand new to entrepreneurship or is trying to take themselves to their next level. Any little fruitful nuggets you can give us?
Yep, it is always have your big picture in mind. Always stay playing at a top level and not getting stuck in the detail. Just go out there with confidence, and when you've got to stretch outside your comfort zone, break through that terror barrier, do all the stuff that scares the shit out of you. In fact, that's the most fun stuff. Do more of that stuff, and just keep going and keep going and keep going. And just make sure you surround yourself with inspiring people every day. And if you're in a situation where there's not inspiring people, find people that you love to follow and go and watch a YouTube video every morning that will inspire you. There's so much more, but let's keep it at that.
Yes, those are applicable. I can do that. I'm all about the inspirational videos too. Feed my soul today kind of stuff, and just eat it in. I also I have to point out one thing too, because you're a daredevil like me. That's really how I've expanded my confidence too, is go jump out of a plane or something equivalent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something that scares the shit out of you. Go do that.
Shit out of you. I love it when clients go, all right, I'm in. I've just paid. I'm terrified and excited at the same time. And then you go, yes, that's the best kind.
Yep. You want that fear and twinge of excitement at the same time. It's the best mix. Boom. Yeah. Let's make it happen. Awesome. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much, my dear. Much love to you guys in New Zealand. Have a blast in Bali next week. And I appreciate your time today, sweetie.
All right, love. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.